You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your #1 source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is October 13th, 2020. This is episode 34 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture, so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm your pop culture stuntman, and with me as always is the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured, the very talented Mr. Radar. What is up, buddy?
Sorry about it. No, it's go on, man.
What's going on? Woo! Everybody say hi to Radar. Woo! Hey, Radar! Ah! Oh man, we are live. We are live. Oh man, if you guys are out there in the chat, say what's up.
Yeah,
I see 61 people peeping us on Facebook, man. Y'all out there, say hi. Say hi. What's up? We got a really great show today, man. We're gonna talk some movie news, some TV news, and we got a fucking outstanding guest coming up in the second hour. He's an Army veteran, but he's also a stuntman. He's also an actor. He's done producing. He's done writing. Really cool dude. We're gonna talk to him in the second hour, and very excited for that interview. But what's up, man? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, man. I'm supposed to be at work.
This is work.
So like, oh, we need you guys to work on Tuesday nights. I'm like, Tuesday nights, I'm busy.
I got a standing engagement Tuesday nights.
Sorry about it. And they're like, well, don't you want to work later? I was like, sorry about it. I got to go.
Sorry about it. Like, the nation needs us.
The nation needs me. Don't hit kids.
We're always live on the nation. Don't hit kids.
Hell yeah. Fucking Heath Barlow's up here. What's up?
What's up, guys? Hey, with your shirt tonight, with the mic in the middle of your shirt, it just says "Don't kids." There you go. Don't hit kids. No, seriously, they have guns now. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. That's my favorite. Trying to get my chats working because it's being. So you got
like, where'd you get that swag at, dude? Always live. WTF Nation Radio bullshit.
You know,
they didn't get. Did you get that or they buy that? Did you buy that?
I bought it, man. I gotta support the station, bro.
I would, but I don't even know like where to buy that shit. If I want to buy a shirt, where do I buy a shirt at?
You gotta talk to the boss, man. He'll point you in the right direction. All right.
It was supposed to be a segue into you can buy our swag.
You can buy our swag at the swag shop. Yeah, man. We got stuff.
A top fan shirt for the
WTF moments.
I am a top fan.
Top fan.
U.S. Army WTF moments. I'm a top fan.
We're gonna start making Pop Culture Warrior top fan shirts.
In all fairness, I'm also a top fan of our page.
Yeah,
as well.
That's right. So, should be.
But I'm not a top fan of the radio page. I think we're like banned from
that. We're not allowed. All right, we're gonna roll right into it. Today, we're gonna start off with some TV news. Yeah, so leading us off, a teaser image here. Huge news. Oh, wow, that was me. You hear that? So we've been wondering for a while with the Justice League coming to theaters, you have Batman, you have Superman, you have Wonder Woman, you have all the Flash and all these characters. We've been wondering when we're going to see Green Lantern in theaters, or on the screen at all. And there was we saw a brief moment of Green Lantern in the Justice League movie. There was a tiny blink and you miss it scene. You saw a little Green Lantern in there. But it's just been announced last Friday that Green Lantern is coming, get this, premiering on HBO Max. It's going to be a TV show. It's going to join all the other DC Universe shows on the new HBO streaming service. This will be, they've ordered 10 episodes. So right away, you've got a full, 10 episode season, giving that it's such short numbers. I'm assuming it's going to be like a 1 hour show. It explores, the ins and outs of the core. Basically, this is, so the log line of the show, basically they said they're going to expand on different heroes who've joined the core. So they want to tell the stories of Alan Scott, Kilowog, Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and many more, it is going to be a live action series. Now, they didn't speculate. They didn't confirm or deny whether this will be set in the Zack Snyder Justice League universe, or is this its own standalone thing, a la like Gotham or something like that. So we don't know if it's connected to the main DC universe, timeverse, whatever. And surprising is that they didn't go with your more classic Green Lanterns, right? Guy Gardner, not Guy Gardner, Kyle Renner, Hal Jordan, John Stewart. Those are your, like, when most people would know Green Lantern, think of Green Lantern, those are the three names that would pop up first. So it's interesting that these were the people they're choosing to go with. So I don't know if they're gonna add them on later, or maybe this series is a standalone thing and they're gonna use kind of the big names for some movie projects down the line. We just don't know. But suffice it to say that Green Lantern, a live action Green Lantern, is coming to HBO Max. What do you think? You excited? You excited for some Green Lantern?
Yes.
There's there's that radar optimism.
I says every week, make it good.
Yeah.
Make it good. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. So apparently, like,
find out too. Fuck around. Make it shitty and see if anyone watches it.
Fuck around and find out.
I'm gonna go back to. There's lots of people like me who maybe don't care about it because it's Green Lantern, but care about it because it's a good show.
Yeah.
And has the potential to be a good show.
Agreed.
Make it good. You'll bring in those. Okay, you've got people. Ari was already talking about before we even talked about it, before we brought up, people were still like, Radar, what's up with the birthday, whatever. All that shit was going on, right? Ari's like, Green Lantern remake, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm taking it. Ari's probably gonna watch it and maybe like it, maybe not.
Yep.
Right. But when we look at things big picture wise, okay, you have to make it not just there. You have to make it good in order to make it go and make it keep going. So I don't know. Do you think they can make it good? Do you think it's going to be all fucked up?
Oh, that's a. We don't have enough anecdotal evidence? We don't have any evidence really, because HBO Max hasn't really done anything yet. So we know a Peacemaker show is coming. We know that they're going to be bringing over a lot of the stuff that was on the DC streaming apps, so like Doom Patrol, Titans, Swamp Thing. All those shows are going to be going to HBO Max. You know, those are the Harley Quinn animated shows going to, so all the stuff's going to HBO Max, but we haven't seen what HBO Max really is of itself, right? So the Peacemaker show will be an original. The Gotham PD, which will be based on the new Batman universe, that'll be its original thing. So then once these things start coming out, we'll have an idea of like, okay, are they doing good? Like, right? We know Marvel's doing great. We know Disney's doing great with like Mandalorian and different things. We know the CW universes, you know, they keep pumping out shows. So, you know, we know these things. And I will say that I think it's like Mark Guggenheim, who's a big executive producer for a lot of the CW shows, the Arrow, the Flash, the Legends of Tomorrow. He's going to be involved in this. So if that says anything about producing that hour-long drama kind of driven live action, I mean, you know, they've done. I've enjoyed most of the CW shows. I'm a fan of most of them. So yeah, I think it could be good. I think it's lining up to be good. But we don't know. We don't know who's casted yet. We don't know who's writing yet. We don't know when this is coming out yet. This was literally the earliest of announcements. So yeah, we'll really, you know, we'll see as things progress forward. Not going to talk about it today, but a perfect example is, you know, we were talking about the Resident Evil reboot. They're doing a TV show and a movie reboot. So a TV show that reboots one, like, I forget how they're breaking it up, but like the TV show's like a reboot continuation of the movie verse, but the movie's going to be a complete reboot of the franchise, something like that. But they announced the cast, and when I saw the cast, I went, oh, okay, I'm impressed. They got some really, I don't want to say big names, but they got some really talented people, where you can see like, oh, I see where they're going with this, and all right, I'm intrigued. So yeah, we'll we'll see for sure how this stuff shakes up sooner rather than later. And speaking of shows, excuse me, I'm still coming down from a little chest cold. Speaking of shows from the CW universe and others, good news is a lot of shows are getting back into filming. We're starting to see a lot of set pictures. So a lot of the CW shows like Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash have all started shooting, and Walking Dead is back to shooting. Yeah, I can see the excitement on your face. We can see you now, remember? Uh-huh. But yeah, so.
Oh, get all excited about The Walking Dead. That's the whole thing exciting is this fucking ending. Sorry about it.
Yeah, nope. I mean,
I can't even pretend to be sorry about it. I went on a fucking pretty good radar rant about that piece of shit Walking Dead before.
Yeah, yes, you did. Yeah, and now we'll have the spinoff.
Now there's all these fucking spin-off. Okay,
yeah.
So Fear the Walking Dead, right? Mm-hmm. That's been around for a hot minute.
Yep.
What have I been watching? I've been watching something. Okay, I don't even have like real cable, right? I don't. Fuck all that. But there's been like a bunch of commercials. Maybe it's been on Facebook or something. I don't fucking know, for like all the different Walking Dead series.
Yeah, because it's Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. The new follow-on series is going to be, was it like, Beyond the Walking Dead, or some shit, yeah, Beyond the World or Beyond the Wall, some for that's Walking Dead. World Beyond, like yep, that's it.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be a new anthology series that replays like all the episodes, like new details and new scenes and stuff like that. And then there's the follow-on where it's Daryl and Carol. The Daryl and Carol show. They should do a variety show.
We should call it that.
The Daryl and Carol show. It's like a variety act.
Oh my God, Walking Dead people, if you're listening right now, which I'm sure you're fucking not, have it where Daryl and Carol like on a couch, right? They're sitting on the couch, not a casting couch.
All right, okay.
Okay, like a talk show, like a fucking legit talk show, and have it like flash back to like all these fucking crazies like, oh my God, do you remember the time you fucking bleh? Right? And then it kind of like into the fucking like into the scene, right, where they're getting chased by walkers and they fucking got a stab in the head or some shit, or he uses a crossbow or some shit into a motorcycle tank and it blows up and kills a bunch of zombies.
Right.
Have these fucking tits, right? But have it where it's like very clearly the zombie thing is like done, right? Or pretty close.
So they just have like a cooking show now.
Yeah, basically, it could be like fucking Snoop and what's her fucking nuts, the felon. And like they could,
oh man,
like whipping up some goulash or some shit. No, but like having like with their fucking coffee mugs, like Regis and Kathy Lee or some shit, and they're fucking. God, that'd be fucking hilarious. That'd be and have like the dude with the tiger come on, the fucking king dude. I don't even know if he died or not.
You talking about Joe Exotic or?
Who was remember the dude?
With the king, the king of the hilltop or whatever it was, or whatever it was. Kingdom, king of the kingdom.
I remember Tiger Dude.
Yeah.
With the dreads.
How funny if they brought in Joe Exotic as the new king of
Yes, Joe Exotic with dreads. Dude.
Real with real tigers, not CGI tigers. Real tigers. Stop biting my leg.
Carol Baskin eaten by a fucking tiger. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. You know that shit. Oh, Carol Baskin as a walker get eaten by the tiger.
Yeah,
that would be.
Well, no, you'd have it's Daryl introducing. I'm gonna introduce my co-host Carol fucking Baskin. He's like, no, not Carol Baskin. Carol.
Hilarious.
Oh man, let's see, Captain Wayne Baconator. That's a hilarious name, by the way. In the chats, Walking Dead would be short as hell if I was in charge.
Word.
Boats. One word.
That's right. Boats. You gotta take boats.
Well, if you saw like Fear the Walking Dead, they went along that route very early, and showed why it's not necessarily that feasible, because something like gas, you gotta unless you're gonna be a sailboat. If we're talking sailboats, okay, that's one thing. But if you think you're gonna have a powered boat that has like refrigeration and all these things, yeah, it's gonna be hard to maintain when all the gas stations in the world are imploding all at once.
Well, okay, first off, diesel doesn't go bad, and most actual boats are powered by diesel, right? How are we gonna get into fucking science behind?
No, I'm not. Not at all. I don't want to.
Well, okay, boats. Okay, here's what I would do.
Just saying.
Boats. First, I would get to bring boats. Just saying.
Boats
but
and
then
hose.
have it out like a lake, right? Then you just drink the fucking water, right? And then just have like a little fucking rowboat, and when the walkers come, be like, row your fat ass out to the middle of the fucking lake,
so
and catch them.
You're drinking the water and eating the fish from the water that like zombies are all up in. Like,
well, zombies can't swim, can they?
They walk. They just walk along the bottom.
Ooh, question. Yeah, can zombies drown?
No, they can't.
I don't fucking think so.
They don't drink.
No,
they don't drink water. They don't breathe. Yeah, they just walk along the bottom.
Have you ever seen Waterworld? That's right. Yeah, nuclear fucking submarine. Fucking exactly. Fucking figure that shit out. But, okay, question.
Imagine me and you on a nuclear submarine.
I can't hold my breath that long, dude. That dude's down for like 6 months. I can't hold my breath for 6 months.
Y'all are crazy, man. Y'all are crazy. No, it brings to mind though one thing that they haven't covered in The Walking Dead, which I give it to. There's one show that really, I think, captured an apocalyptic event the best, and it was kind of a comedy. Did you ever see Last Man on Earth? Did you ever see that show? Oh, it's a phenomenally funny show. And one of the things that they did on that show that is never done in any other apocalyptic version of TV or movie is that after so many years, the nuclear reactors that we have would fail. They would fail. They would explode. There would be nuclear fallout in major cities across the country because these reactors would fail if they're not properly maintained. You know, everybody says, oh, like the hydroelectric plants will keep producing power, but if they're not regularly maintained and clean, those things jam up and could catastrophic fail. So like there's so many things that would go bad in the event of a real catastrophe where there were very limited people left in the world. There'd be huge catastrophes.
2 things.
Yes.
2 things. Is one.
We're on such a side tangent, by the way.
Have you ever seen Life After People, the show on the Discovery Channel?
Yeah. I've seen those. Those are great.
Yes, and it actually factually goes into like what would happen over time.
Yeah.
Based on these information,
right?
Windmills will blow up or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, and actually a really good description of that, talking about zombies and all of these things, is World War Z, the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not much of a reader. Marine Corps flag on the wall might point that out a little bit. Not much of a reader. You know what I mean? Never really have been. I'm not exactly what people call intelligent. Well read is not usually what people call me. But I did actually read that book when I went to college. And the reason we read it was actually a comp or English class. I'm not even we had to read it for a class, right? And it was not necessarily about the zombies, but about the way the people reacted to the zombies. Okay, but it kind of delves into no one's taking care of the power plants now and all these other fucking shits. Hot air balloons. That's right. In that book, if you read it, they talk about that shit. Airships, all those other things. Right. Anyway, back to the story. I'm not gonna get too far into it, but that actually goes really good into those things. And I think that the movie did not. So
I mean, it's a movie. It doesn't have that much time. It doesn't have that much time.
What?
It doesn't have that much time. You got 90 minutes to tell a story. You can't go into all the details about everything. Why the books are always better.
It's like fucking way wrong from the book. It was like way fucking wrong, dude. It was like saying it's like saying I've seen The Walking Dead, so I know what happens in the comics.
Right.
Or graphic novels.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
You know what I mean? It was very, very, very different. I mean, it had the same name and zombies. That's about it. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm right there with you, man. Right there with you. All right, we gotta jump topics here. I got some more fun stuff we can talk about. We can have a whole zombie end of the world chat anytime.
We should have a zombie show.
We should have a zombie episode.
That for Halloween.
Halloween zombie episode, just all zombie talk.
Are we getting dressed up for Halloween?
I wanna do that. If you guys want to see us dress up in costumes for our Halloween episode, let us know, and we'll definitely do it.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that the Tuesday before Halloween.
Right. The 27th is our Halloween special. So we'll have some. We'll do something fun. We'll have a game or something. I don't know
about costumes.
Better get.
Usually my go-to costumes, I put on an old set of ACUs and like wear that. Like I'm a soldier for wait.
I'm an army guy.
I'm a army guy.
I'm Navy SEALs. I'm all the Navy SEAls. All
I
right.
don't even wear like, and this is legit. Like I don't know. Like I was talking, my kid. Army kid update.
Yeah.
Baby radar. Or,
Baby radar.
Yeah, private radar. He's going to Germany, right?
Yes.
And he's kind of putting together things, right? Like, got the rack of ribbons and shit and fucking badges and all kinds of shit, right? Like everyone does after they've done some shit. If you do things, you get shit, right? And he's like, what? How did you get this? And I'm like, I got all of it. I just don't wear it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's like, well, how do you have like this and not? I have it. I still wear it. It doesn't figure. He's still got that private brain where like, if you get it, you need to put on your shit.
That's
so
right.
that way you can like be impressive to other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to him that you don't need all.
Those of us with like 7 racks of ribbons, it's excessive. So you trim it down to just like,
Well, then you get all pissed off. Like, I don't want another fucking Archon, so I gotta buy what? Another fucking oak leaf cluster from Archon? Fucking sorry about it. Okay.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Oh, give me another AAM. Thanks for that. Fucking okay, cool.
Yeah. No kidding, man. No kidding. All right. I got something cool to share. You ready for this?
Oh, yes,
got something cool to share. We talked about this 2 or 3 episodes ago that Amazon Prime was picking up the show Invincible. It's from creator Robert Kirkman, famous for Walking Dead fame. We said it is going to be an animated show. I showed some pictures of what it could look like. Well, guys, I have the teaser trailer for the show, and I'm very excited to share it with you. So real quick, obviously Robert Kirkman's synonymous with Walking Dead, but one of his probably other fan favorite series is Invincible. So we haven't yet seen it taken to video or anything like that, but obviously that's going to change now. Recently, New York Comic-Con, which normally is a in-person thing, went digital, and so this was a teaser trailer that they shared digitally. It's bringing back, all the beloved characters, very brutal brand of superhero action. The way he took zombies and made it mainstream, he's done kind of with the superhero genre. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned while I show you guys the first trailer for Invincible.
Son, kids your age think they're invincible. And it holds them back, makes them careless. You hear it?
I do.
Were you nervous?
A little. I can do this! You need something to punch.
This is the beginning of a long journey for you, son. The thing is, you're different. You actually are.
All right. How fucking awesome does that thing look? I mean, that looks incredible. Radar?
You know why?
Why?
Dude's got a mustache.
He's mustachioed. Is that why? He's mustachioed. Yeah, it looks great, man. I love the dulcet tones of some J.K. Simmons, man. Ugh, I hear his voice and I'm just like, yes, that's so good. With Stephen Yeun playing the character of Mark Grayson, the son. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. For those that don't know the story, Invincible revolves around a 17-year-old boy named Mark Grayson, who is the son of the most famous and powerful hero on the planet, Omni-Man. It turns out that Mark has powers of his own, And while he's trying to kind of figure out how to use them, he also starts to discover some of the darker parts of his father's legacy. Ooh, intriguing. It is Robert Kirkman's second longest running series. It ended in February of 2018, making it a 15-year run of comics, and it will be coming to Prime in 2021. So very excited, very, 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 very excited to check out Invincible. Did the trailer convince you?
I think it'll be all right. I'll check it out. I will check it out.
He's gonna check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
I can promise you, man. I'll check it out.
You know,
I think it'll be all right.
I feel like you make these promises and then you let us all down. I really do. I feel like you never come through on your promises. You always say you're gonna check it out. Have you seen Lovecraft Country yet? No. Have you seen what was that? Have you seen The Boys? You've seen The Boys.
Yes, I kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All
Okay.
right.
So I tried. Okay. And then, I work early in the morning.
Right.
And so I did. I turned it on in the bed, and then I fell asleep.
Okay.
I had every intention of watching all of it. I fell asleep. So,
how much did you see of it? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
no, probably 20.
Go ahead.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What did you think of those few minutes that you saw? As he takes a big gulp.
It was all right. I mean, it was good.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch.
I'm going to attempt it again.
Yeah.
Yes. But you have to remember, too, I got kids.
Got kids.
Right? So when I'm
kids.
like, oh, I'll watch something on television. And then it's like, no, sorry about it. We're going to watch. We're all playing Jackbox, Dad. We can't. No. I'm like, go play Jackbox in the basement. I'll watch Netflix. No.
Right on. Speaking of Jackbox, man, I think we should do that.
Hit them. They got guns. So.
I think we should do a Jackbox thing for maybe the Halloween episode. We'll have some fun with the audience and.
Stop talking about zombies in the Halloween.
I mean, we'll do that too. We're gonna have plenty of time. We're not gonna have a guest on, so.
But how much time do you think we're gonna have?
2-hour show.
Zombies all night. I like zombies.
All right, moving on to movie news. And once again, I'm gonna lead off with the image you guys are seeing, and that is Doctor Strange is reportedly going to be in Spider-Man 3. So the story is as follows. It basically looks like Spider-Man's getting some serious help for the next live action picture. Doctor Strange, who's played obviously by Benedict Cumberbatch, has been added to the cast of the upcoming Spider-Man Far From Home sequel, which is heading into production literally any day now. It's October, November. They said they were going to start production, so it's starting very soon. Cumberbatch will take on this film before heading on to his Doctor Strange sequel. So for Benedict Cumberbatch, this is kind of like a warm-up to getting back into Doctor Strange form. According to The Hollywood Reporter, who first broke the news, Doctor Strange will be acting as a mentor for Spider-Man in the new movie, right? Because we had Tony Stark, had him, in Avengers and the first Homecoming, and then with him dying, we had Nick Fury and kind of Happy Hogan playing mentor in the Far From Home sequel, and so now it looks like Peter's gonna have another superhero father figure in Doctor Strange. The cast of the third Spider-Man continues to grow. You obviously have Tom Holland's returning, Zendaya is returning, Marissa Tomei, so many other casts are returning for this movie. But it was also recently revealed, we talked about it last week, that Jamie Foxx is bringing back Electro for that film as well. Huge news for Marvel fans. And now it's unclear. He's definitely playing Electro. We don't know if it's the same Electro or a different version of Electro. Or every piece is kind of falling into place that this movie is going to have to do about multiple multiverse, timeline, alternate reality. Like, it's just everything's falling into place between getting, Jamie Foxx's Electro, bringing in Doctor Strange, which we know the next movie has to do with him trying to fix the multiverse. And this is a follow-up to, what we're going to see in WandaVision, where we know she's manipulating reality, like it's all falling into place. There's been rumors that Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are in talks to reprise their Spider-Man characters for this movie in cameos. So it really all seems to be falling in line to make kind of a MCU version of the Spider-Verse story. Yeah, I see Mike Larson says, yeah, One More Day is another possibility. For those that don't know, One More Day was a storyline where Spider-Man reveals his true identity. It's the one time he did it in comics. He publicly identified as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And things went downhill fast, as they would, because, enemies started targeting his loved ones. And Aunt May ends up getting, like, shot by a sniper. And she's on her deathbed. And basically, Peter makes a deal with literally the Marvel equivalent of the devil, Mephisto. He makes a deal with the devil that says, I want my identity back. I want my secret identity back to protect my loved ones. Basically reverse time. I didn't make that decision. And in order to do that, for some stupid reason, Mephisto's like, okay, but you and Mary Jane never fell in love. Like, that was the deal. It's a weird storyline, but the whole idea is they retconned the fact that he had revealed himself publicly, and then also split him and Mary Jane up. So there's a possibility that could come into play, that storyline, because we know at the end of this last Spider-Man movie, he got outed. He got outed as Spider-Man. So maybe somehow he makes a deal with this demonic presence. Dormammu was part of Doctor Strange 1. Maybe Dormammu gives him, I've come to make a bargain, and he gives him his anonymity back. But, in order to do that, chaos ensues, and then Multiverse of Madness sparks up. So, yeah, I think it's lining up to be a really cool movie. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I love what they did with Doctor Strange. It was one of the coolest movies of the Marvel Universe, as far as just being wickedly out there. Yeah, so we'll see. So as it stands now, Spider-Man and the Sorcerer Supreme will be making their appearance. Was it Spider-Man 3? So the way it's going to work out is it looks like Spider-Man 3 will premiere December of next year. And then just 3 months after that, we'll see Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, in March of 2022. So 2022. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. Does any of that sound appealing to you? Do you like the idea of multiple Spider-Men jumping back and forth between, like, the old versions of Spider-Man?
I don't hate it. I don't. You know me. Like, I don't really mind the follow canon. I don't give a shit about all that. Don't. But I mean, I think it has a lot of potential. Okay. I don't really give a shit about, like, trying to keep things straight. Don't. Some people who are, like, I don't know, more worried about it than I am probably are, but, oh, you can't do all this, man. You can. Sorry about it. So no, I think it'd be cool. I think it gives a lot of chance to build on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not kind of caught in one. I don't know. Like, you're not caught into one thing. You can really build on it, and I'm excited about it. I really am. I think it has a lot of potential. Realize your potential.
I agree. They're playing a dangerous game in that, Marvel's been successful in building up this kind of thing, and now playing with the idea of, like, hey, we're gonna, like, wink at the old stuff that was kind of cool and was not kind of cool. I mean, the only reason they could do this, the only reason they can make this work, is because Sony owns the rights to all those other Spider-Man franchises.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So because they own the rights to the original Spider-Man, because they own the rights of Amazing Spider-Man, and because they own the rights of the new Spider-Man, they can make this movie where they can bring back Spider-Man. They could even, there's a way that they could, like, use archival footage of the old actors without even bringing them back. Now, there's a legal precedent set way back in, was it Back to the Future, where actors started suing because they weren't being paid for their likeness being used in movies that they weren't in technically.
Right.
So there'd have to be some, I don't know what their contracts say as far as like, Sony owns the rights to that image in perpetuity, or if they would just have to pay them some type of fee or something or give them a screen credit. I don't know. I think if you're Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, I mean, you're not exactly lighting up the movie boards recently. So I say if you got a shot at putting the tights back on, play an older, fatter Spider-Man. I don't care. I just think it'd be cool to play that up. They did it for Spider-Verse, right? Into the Spider-Verse, you had this older, chubbier Spider-Man who's just like, yeah, I've been there, done it, I'm over it. It'd be cool to kind of see that brought to life in the Marvel Universe, where Tom Holland kind of looks at himself. He's like, "Ooh, I turned into you. Ooh, you don't look so good." Yeah. So Captain Wayne Baconator, I see you, brother. He says Spider-Man's gonna be pretty kick-ass. Yeah, they're doing a Spider-Woman movie or TV show that will eventually lead to the movies, and then they're also doing they're doing a She-Hulk again. They're going to do a She-Hulk Disney Plus series that will eventually lead to her character joining the Avengers in the movies. So a lot of this stuff, we're talking Miss Marvel, we're talking Moon Knight, we're talking She-Hulk, and Spider-Woman are all going to be... Well, the Spider-Woman is going to be direct to movie, and that's going to be in the Sony wheelhouse. It's a little complicated. Because certain things are owned by Disney and Marvel, and certain things are owned... Anything with like a spider-related emblem is belonging to Sony. So Spider-Woman would definitely be in Sony's wheelhouse and part of their kind of spider universe. So yeah, I know that's so stupid and complicated, but it is what it is.
It's very stupid and complicated. Now, what is going on with Disney Plus? Because the reason I asked, I was flipping through Netflix.
Yeah.
Last night, it was Amazon Prime. It's either Amazon Prime or Netflix because it's the only two I really watch. Okay. And like all of the Disney stuff that was supposed to be like Prime only content is like now showing up on there, like the Nat Geo channel or whatever they had on, that kind of stuff is now showing up on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure it was Prime.
Right.
So that was supposed to be like at one time that was billed as Disney Plus exclusive.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything on that? Like I just as we talk about this is like kind of popping into my head.
Sure.
This doesn't make any sense. I meant to bring it up. I meant to actually text you about it last night, and I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, because we talk, about these streaming services and how it's supposed to be kind of like.
Yeah, they're all trying to build their own library of stuff.
Right, and now they kind of we're not going to share it. We want this to be our content. Now they're kind of sharing it.
Yeah, it's weird, man. This is a very fast moving, evolving, constantly changing landscape, right? Because you had DC made their own streaming service, the DC, I forget what it was, whatever it was called, and that's where they had Titans, Doom Patrol, Harley, all these stuff. And then HBO, who's also owned by the same company that owns DC, made their streaming service, and they're like, hey, we're gonna have a better streaming service. So they started pulling all their stuff to HBO Max. So I think a lot of these companies are restructuring and trying to figure out, okay, maybe DC is too niche to have its own streaming service, but they can fold up into the bigger HBO the same way that Disney Plus is, right? Disney Plus isn't just a bunch of cartoon movies. It isn't just a bunch of Marvel stuff. It's Marvel, it's Star Wars, it's Nat Geo, it's what is it? It's ESPN Plus. It's like it's all of that in one kind of big housed thing, and I think that's kind of what HBO Max is trying to do is align all of its content into one streaming service. But then you got Peacock with all the NBC stuff, and then you've got Hulu, and then you got Netflix, and then you got Prime, and then you get it's stuff's getting constantly pulled in every direction. I know Marvel is trying to pull all their stuff back, right? That's why you're not seeing a lot of the Marvel movies are slowly fading away from Netflix and things like that. So you'll see that more.
But the stuff that talking about pulling it back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disney Plus trying to pull things back to themselves.
Yeah.
Right? These are things that have been released. Frozen 2, for example,
right?
One that I know stuck out. definitely, I remember the big to-do about Frozen 2, Disney Plus, blah, 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 released it early because of pandemic and blah, 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 all those things, right? So I didn't know if like if that was something they were doing, like, okay, well, we've had it now as a Disney Plus exclusive, now we're going to release it,
Basically, yeah. So basically,
or how
yeah,
they're doing that, because they have, we talked about like the Marvel stuff had a contract with Netflix for X amount of time,
right,
and then it's no longer available on Netflix.
right,
Bringing it back, the Nat Geo stuff, I'm pretty sure it was Nat Geo that they own.
yeah,
80% sure. That stuff was getting brought back to Disney Plus only. Now there's like a Nat Geo channel that you can subscribe to on Amazon. I saw that came up on like this Prime Day or some shit.
and they have certain deals. They have certain deals.
Yeah.
So like you're not going to find it free in a lot of places. Like you'll have to have a subscription of something in order to get it from somewhere. And you got to think it's like Disney Plus is like they're going to have their exclusives because that's how they're going to draw people to Disney Plus. But after a while, they're going to sell rights so that, eventually you're going to see was it Frozen 2 on whatever channel, on ABC for the, this September or the Christmas movie. You know what I mean? Like you're going to see that stuff. So eventually they will license it off. The old model of something comes out in theater, then it comes out on demand, then it comes out on DVD, then you see it on TV, then you find it on Netflix. Like that old model is completely out the door. And it's constantly reshuffling now to where now you saw it was skipped theaters, straight to Disney Plus, but now it's going to be optioned out to other services, eventually, making it onto TV. And like, yeah, it's a changing landscape. It's going to be a while before we kind of set what is the new status quo until we get down to like 4 or 5 streaming services tops. It's going to be a little topsy-turvy while everybody tries to beat out everybody else. Everybody's trying to get those Netflix numbers, the Netflix of, 5 years ago kind of numbers. But I think Prime's doing a phenomenal job coming out with some really good content. Netflix is hanging in there tough. They're getting their stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for that Disney Plus stuff to start pouring in, man. Mandalorian 2's right around the corner. And then we got WandaVision. We got, Falcon and Winter Soldier, all that stuff. I'm super jazzed. I can't wait to dig my teeth into that stuff. I'm really excited.
Oh, yeah. Let's fucking do this.
So, yeah, some more movie news as we're coming to the top of the hour. The Matrix 4, and I had to point this out because so much stuff is getting delayed, as we know, as it will continue to do. Well, the surprise is the Matrix 4 has been moved up. We're getting it earlier than we were previously told. So obviously it was originally supposed to come out, I think it was, the original was like end of 2021. Then it got pushed all the way back to, I think it was April of 2022. So now the latest announcement is that it's been given a new date and has been announced will be released December 22nd, 2021. So December of next year, we're going to get The Matrix 4, which I think is not going to be the name, but it's still the working title, Matrix 4. But filming has resumed as of like late August of this year. They were obviously shut down like everybody else, but it's one of those things. Keanu Reeves was on set talking lots of good things. He's been doing interviews saying that they're in Berlin, they're shooting their thing. They're doing it as cleanly, protocols are in place and effectively that they can. They said he's quoted as saying it's a beautiful, beautiful story, and he says he's making a much easier Matrix movie. So I'm guessing there's gonna be a lot less stunts or fighting. I don't know. But he said he's enjoying making an easier Matrix movie, whatever that means. So yeah, Matrix 4 is actually one of the first major Hollywood productions to return to filming after the coronavirus. Like I said, they started back in August. So they were one of the first ones to kind of get their wheels up and running. And that, I guess, equates to us seeing it a little bit earlier, December of next year. So very excited to see the return of Neo and the Matrix. What about you?
I don't know. That's all right. No, I don't know. I do like the Matrix series. I really do. I did enjoy it. God, it's fun to fuck with you. Sometimes. But anyway, no, I actually am kind of getting it early. Like how early? Like
yeah, it ends up being like 3-4 months earlier than what was announced.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm still kind of in that. I'm waiting to see it, dude. I mean,
yeah,
I am because I mean. We've been going back and forth and wishy-washy and flippy-floppy about when these movies are going to start being released.
Yeah.
It's hard to really believe it until I see it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to start seeing some of this stuff sneak and eke its way out. But yeah, it's hard not to be taken advantage of again. Where they're like,
no,
in May, in June, in August, in October, in December, 2 years from now, and you're like,
fucking ever make movies again? Like
breaking our balls, man.
Even me, dude. Like you are way more into movies and theaters and that experience than I am.
Yeah.
We've discussed that. That's become quite apparent.
Sure.
Even me, dude. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking.
I just want to go. Yeah. I just want to get a slushie, man. I want to go sit in a theater, have myself a slushie, and
fuck popcorn. Hey, the theater here. Remember I told you they were open for a bit?
Yeah.
They closed. They're like shut down. Like they went bankrupt. Like they're completely closed.
That hurts.
So,
that hurts.
It does. It sucks because I'm from a pretty rural area, right?
Yeah.
So that movie theater was the only one for like fucking miles, dude. Like if I want to go to a movie now, I gotta drive to like Rapid, which is like an hour and 20 minutes away. Just go watch a fucking movie.
Yeah, so you got to remember a big part of Pop Culture Warriors. We were gonna do movie reviews. We were gonna go see movies and then talk about them. And like that was like when we started the show and we pitched the idea. It was like, oh, we could talk about movies that just came out and this and this and that. And I wanted to do like for the channel, for the Facebook channel and stuff. I wanted to do like live reactions where like I coming out of the theater, I'd be like, all right, that was great. This and this and that without spoiling anything. But like that was gonna be a big part of the channel and a big part of the show. And we come out in February, and in March, everything shuts down. The first one was supposed to be Black Widow in March, and everything got shut down. So I'm still looking forward to being able to draw that into the show. And
that's what sucks, dude. Like, we just want to like do. I mean, and it's not just me. Like I said, when it's me saying we're gonna fucking get the movies going on here because it's getting a little bit late. Like, so when I'm saying that, like, it's a thing. But then again, we've talked about it. Everything's stalled. Everything's such a stall right now. You can't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
I do feel bad. I'm to the point where even I feel bad about it. So if I feel bad about something, it's bad.
I'm dying inside. If you feel it, I'm dying inside.
Yeah, I'm just like, there's no movies. Like fucking, you're like, But that gets back to. When can they responsibly do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's what they're trying to figure out. And then they release certain, I don't know, they opened movie theaters and we're hoping for certain movies to come out, but then things started getting back again. And yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a while. It's definitely not gonna be before the end of this year.
Right? Then how are you trying to get excited about some Matrix bullshit? Now you fucking coming out movie.
All right, so one more story before we head to break. One of our favorite people to talk about here on this show, Mr. Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
he's officially cleared for takeoff, and by that I mean he's going to space. So our boy Tom, is hitching a ride on a SpaceX Crew Dragon rocket and capsule to the International Space Station in October of next year. He's going to film a movie in orbit. All right. According to the 2020-2023 ISS official manifest, Mr. Mission Impossible himself will be joined by the director that he worked with before, Edge of Tomorrow, Doug Liman, and they're pioneering this film project. They still haven't really said what it is. They said it's not a Mission Impossible. They said it's not a franchise movie. This is an original idea, original concept. They haven't really discussed what it is, but all we know is that they're filming this completely in space. He's working hand in hand with Elon Musk himself and NASA to film this action adventure flick, like aboard the ISS, the International Space Station. The film will be the first ever shot in outer space. I mean, say what you will about the guy. That's incredible. That's incredible. That is a ballsy kind of a call to say I'm gonna go film a movie in space.
No, that's not ballsy at all. That's not ballsy at all.
Hmm?
How's that ballsy, dude? That's not fucking ballsy at all. You go to like 3/4 of this country and say, I will pay you $1 bajillion, fly you to fucking space. All you gotta do is make a movie. Psh, fuck that. Anybody, I'll do it. I'm fat as fuck. I'm fat and not talented and fucking bald. And I will still go to space, make a movie, pay me $1 billion. Just fucking saying.
Hey.
Let me hang out with Elon Musk, pay me money to make a movie. I'll do it. That's not ballsy.
Okay.
No.
With that spin on things, I see your point. I meant for a person who has all the money in the world and doesn't need to risk. I mean, think about it. One screw loose on that ship ends in catastrophe. You know what I mean? Like those things aren't safe. Like you're on a giant missile headed into space. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You want to be Bala? You want to be legend Bala forever? Die in a fucking rocket that blows the fuck up.
I mean, yes. Agreed.
Think about that teacher.
I don't think he would. Yes,
that's
exactly what I'm thinking
of. That one chica, I don't remember her name. I'm trying to. Everyone talks about the teacher that blew the fuck up on the Challenger in like the mid '80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Bitch wasn't even famous.
Yeah.
Got blown the fuck up. Now she's famous. Woo.
Agreed.
Right? Okay.
Agreed.
You take Tom motherfucking Cruise and blow him up. He's gonna be famous forever. I'm just saying.
I think Tom Cruise is going to be famous forever just from his work alone.
I'll do it for free. Well, maybe not free, but just saying.
Someone get NASA on the line. We need to shoot Radar into space. I want you to co-host this show from space.
Might want to use a cargo cap.
We'll have your little bubble like floating around across the top of the screen as you're in space. We definitely.
They'll probably send my fat ass in the car with the dummy to fly by Mars and shit. Like,
oh God.
I mean that's kind of the same thing.
I've got nothing, man.
Just send me to space.
Oh my God! Somebody get NASA. We need to get Radar to space like ASAP.
Yes.
ASAP. We need
back to Earth and jump all over Oprah's couch. Buy a new couch, you rich motherfucker. Yes, that'd be me. Fuck your couch. Yes.
Oh man. Well.
My fat ass in space. Where's Ice at? Doesn't Ice know people at NASA? Ice knows everybody.
Ice knows everybody. Ice knows everybody. All right, we got one more thing for you guys before we go to break. Because I got to sit here and laugh to myself about this. We were just talking about movies not probably making it into theaters. Well, this movie is announced to come out December 11th. Will it make it? We don't know, but
no is the answer. No.
I think it's got a good chance. I think it's got a good chance of coming out on time. But guys, here's the next probably big movie coming out in theaters. Hopefully, fingers crossed, December 11th. It's Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy.
Good morning, Goldie. My name is Guy, and I live in Free City. I have everything I need. Except one thing. Hey! Excuse me! Hey! Hey, bud, you ever think that there's gotta be more?
More than what?
The stuff we do day after day.
Literally not once.
Today's gonna be different, Goldie. What are we looking at?
Who are you?
We ran into each other the other day.
How did you find me?
I waited outside by the murder train.
Guy, I have to tell you something. There is no easy way to say this. This world is a video game.
I really want to kiss you. Is that weird?
Listen to me. You're not real.
Wait, you let who kiss you?
Guy.
There's not a button for that.
Oh, he found the button.
Buddy, if we're not real, doesn't that mean that nothing you do matters?
I am sitting here with my best friend trying to help him get through a tough time. Now, if that's not real, I don't know what is.
Millie, I know this world is just a game, but this place, these people, that's all I have.
Thanks, guy.
Who is this guy?
This character in the video game Free City has been turning heads by being the good guy.
Woo! Who is Blue Shirt Guy?
You're absolutely right. Who is he or she, indeed?
This loser is ruining the game, man. I don't care if he's Arnold freaking Schwarzenegger. Terminate him.
We're doing great.
Guy, in 2 days, the game is going to shut down. You, this whole city, they'll be gone.
What if we can save it? Was that cool? It felt really cool. We can change our world, but we have to fight together. I don't even know what's happening right now, but I love it! This is the first time I've ever driven a car before.
I really wish you'd mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you! Watch out for them! They seem nice.
All right. So that was Free Guy coming December 11th. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Whew. That looks intense. What do you think there, buddy? Radar?
I'll check it out.
That's like the best recommendation you've ever given anything. It's like, yeah, I'll check it out.
I don't know what you want me to say. I'll check it out.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna have a really cool guest. We're gonna have Christian. Man, I'm gonna butcher his name. Brunetti. Yes, Christian Brunetti. I got you, bud. Sorry about that. All right, we'll be back in just a few short minutes. Hang tight. We'll see you in a bit. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
You got me staring out the window. 8 hours late and you're a no-show. looking up and fading out. Cirrus shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through. Skin is brown. Nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life is never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? Constellation theme, mapping stars that are meant to be. Geminis are free of suicidal kings. This misty maze of me, so obvious yet never seen. Feeling though the fog will lift to find me lost at sea. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life is never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? Myself and I am so lost in beautiful, far away from life. But I want your visible feeling to be mine. Oh, I just don't get it. When will your heart beat with my mind? I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life is never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I stood there in that middle of church with a bottle of gin in my hand. I'm looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long lost friend. My days turn to nights, my nights turn to weeks when you're living life on the road. I'm halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. I finally made it back to Bourbon Street, picking some of them old night bars, hoping I could find myself playing music on my guitar. For the kid around, they all shouted out as the drinks began to flow. I pulled out that old guitar, then I showed them how to do-si-do. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. I stood there with a bottle of gin in my hand, looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long lost friend. Days turn to nights, but nights turn to weeks when you live a life on the road. Halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back.
Call the show now at 415-889-8367. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are y'all doing? We're back with more Pop Culture Warrior. I'm super excited. This is gonna be really fun. So my guest tonight began his career in TV and film after spending nearly a decade as a member of the United States Army. His first major job in film was as a military advisor for season 7 of Army Wives. He followed that up by working on his first major film in the summer of 2014. He's continued to pursue a career as a full-time stunt performer, actor, and all-around badass. He relies heavily on his military experience as well as background in martial arts. Prior to working for film, he's competed in multiple mixed martial arts, winning titles in 2 separate weight classes. He continues to train and compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And really, he's no stranger to the station, but it's his first time on Pop Culture Warrior. So please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Christian Brunetti. What's up, buddy?
Going on?
Oh man, super excited to have you on the show, man. Thank you for making the time.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So you know, again, this isn't your first rodeo here with WTF Nation Radio. So we appreciate your continued coming on and kind of playing with us. But I'm excited to have you on here because you know we've we've been very fortunate to have a lot of actors and writers, directors come on. So it's really cool to kind of see behind, the camera, see behind what's going on in the background. So definitely appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So real quick, obviously, you're a veteran. You served in the Army. As we're a veteran station and a military station, why don't you give us a little bit about, your time in the service? How'd you get in? When'd you get in? What'd you do?
Okay. It's $1,000,000 question. And I get asked this a lot, and I never really know how to answer it. Reader's Digest version. I grew up in New York. Was in high school in northern New York when the trade towers fell. Saw it live senior year of high school. I'd always kicked around the idea of joining the military, and that kind of jump started me down the path. Initially I went in, I was airborne infantry with the 82nd, deployed with them. Realized very quickly that the Army has a lot of things to offer outside conventional warfare. Switched over to PSYOP after I had my first 2 years in the military, and then spent about 6 years in PSYOP, working in special operations and I guess traveling the globe. And then got out. I think that basically covers it.
Yeah. What year did you get out?
2012.
2012.
Which it's hard to believe that was 8 years ago.
Time flies.
Yeah. It's like, I'm working on this project, and it's a live show, and I got to be careful how much I say, because part of the fun of it is that people don't know what they're getting into. And it's through a company called Greystone HQ. The company's run by a former SEAL who, thought kind of what we all did, which is, man, I bet people would pay a lot of money to train and do some of the things that we've done. And turns out he's not wrong. But we get to work with some of the newer equipment. And so like Gen 54 NVGs where everything's in like black and white and high def. It made me a little bit sad because, when they're saying, oh, guys, you're going to be walking in NVGs for the first time, I'm thinking like the 7 Deltas or the 14s that we had in 2004, where like everything blurred together and you're walking in the woods and you're like, everything's green. I don't know where I am.
It's one green cloud.
Oh yeah. I was so excited. And then I saw the new equipment that people have. And I was like, I don't mean to be that guy, but this isn't fair, man. They need to suck like we had to suck.
Right.
But then you realize, it's been 8 years. So, maybe things have progressed since we were in.
Yeah. No, I gotta say, man, the similarities are mind-boggling. So when people ask me about my service, the first thing I say is, well, I was a senior in high school. 9/11 happened. I'm from New York. I watched it live, and immediately after that, I joined the airborne infantry. So it's strikingly similar. I like you already. Although I went to the better unit. I was in the 173rd Airborne, so that's
You might have had a little more fun.
that's the same reaction everybody always gives. They go, "Oh yeah."
You were one of those.
Yeah, I was one of those guys. But no, that's awesome. So obviously you spent a couple some time overseas. You do a couple tours. Any memorable experiences?
All instances of me making a fool of myself are the ones that tend to stick out. So my first trip overseas, as part of a fire team, I'm a PFC. I barely know my own name. And we're going out on a mission, and we go to clear this train. And, you're taught, or at least you used to be taught, hey, if the lead guy trips, you just keep walking over him and you enter into the building or whatever. You don't just leave the guy there, right?
Right.
And so I'm hopped up. I'm really nervous. I'm the lead guy. I get up the first step of the train. On the second step, I trip and like face plant. And so I just go face down on the ground. My first, trip outside the wire in Iraq. And I think, oh my God, like I'm an idiot. I'm just waiting for, my teammate behind me to step on me. But instead I hear laughter. and that is a sound that translates language. It turns out, when Iraqis laugh at you and Americans laugh at you, it sounds very similar. And everybody was just so astonished that I tripped that they were all just laughing. And I was like, well, the good news is I'm not being shot at, I guess, and that I was able to bridge cultures with my inability to walk upstairs. So that was one of my very first experiences in combat.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. A lot of just times where you're thinking to yourself, like, is really this, like, this is what it is, the explosion, the gunfire and the gunfights and that shit. You're like, okay, yeah, I get this. But the like, the boredom, the terrible food, the just random events where you're just like, okay, that fucking happened.
Yeah, no, a lot of times people, you're spot on, because everybody assumes, especially, it's one thing if, I joined and I became a cook or a mechanic, you don't expect a lot of pageantry, but when you join the airborne infantry and things, it should be Black Hawk Down every day, and it's not always the case. There's lots of free time between then. And I'm curious to your thought too on how Hollywood portrays that, right? Because every movie is American Sniper. It's it's Black Hawk Down. It's all these movies, and it's very, I would almost say never, but we just had a great movie, The Outpost from Rod Lurie, who depicts that famous battle, and it really is one of the first movies that showcases like just how much boredom and just monotony is involved in it. Do you think we need that more in Hollywood? Do you think we need to see the reality?
So the problem is it's kind of a hard sell to a certain extent. Because you never want to take away from the fact that there are brothers and sisters serving overseas and laying down their lives and in terrible situations. And so you don't want to belittle that, but for us, it's just like, man, it was like a bad comedy. It was just like one ridiculous thing after another. So how do you blend the two?
Right.
Because I think that, they coexist hand in hand. The selfless sacrifices and the crazy situations and the gunfights and the moments of boredom. The trick is just how do you sell that? Prime example, and I still think this is funny as hell. He was a junior guy on my team. My last trip to Iraq. His nickname is Ugg. Because he's a smart guy, but I swear to God, he opens your mouth and you're just like, ugh, you are a big dumb son of a bitch. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, so let me
absolutely go for it, man.
Yeah,
let loose.
And loved him to death, and I still do trust him with my life. But man, he just he wasn't always the smartest guy sounding.
Right.
Well, we're out meeting with a local official. Guys are back at the team house. Huge ID goes off. I call up to our team captain who's in the meeting, like, hey, there's an ID about, 400 meters back. And without missing a beat, I go, fuck, our team house is 400 meters back. He gets off, we get in, we run back to the house. And it was a V bed. It was set off across the street from us. We get in, all our guys thankfully are okay. And I'm checking in with Doug, and I'm like, man, you doing all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm kind of pissed though. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, I'm in the gym and I'm working on a new max for my squats. And I got it up there and I got to 8, 9, and the fucking bomb goes off and everything shatters and there's dust everywhere. And I swear to God, I thought I only have 1 rep left and I didn't know what to do. And I said, well, what did you do? He goes, I did the damn rep and then grabbed my gun.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yes, yep. So how do you convince people that moments like that are real? That
right.
Literally in the middle of bombs going off, you're like, yeah, I got time. I'm just gonna crank this one out and then I'm gonna grab my gun and go fight. It's unless you're there, it's almost too insane to believe.
Right.
The stories about guys stepping up and doing these unbelievable acts of heroism, I think is easy to believe, and it's narrative that's easy to accept. But the fact that it's not all just death and destruction for 6 months, 9 months, a year. There's all the colors and shades of life involved in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no,
So,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
that's so true. And I mean, how do you show in a, let's say, a movie? It's maybe easier in like a long format series, but how do you show in a movie, your first day in country when sirens are going off and you're diving for cover versus 8-9 months in, and there's mortars dropping near you and you're just kind of like, when's breakfast? And it's a hard thing to illustrate visually without actually being there. So I get that. So all right, so you finished your service, you wrapped up. The dog wants to be a part of it. I get it. I totally get it. You did your time in. When you were getting out, did you have kind of an idea of what you wanted to do? I mean, what was the transition out of the military like?
No clue, like not the slightest idea. And so the funny thing is, in collecting all my thoughts, while I was in, I didn't realize the opportunities that I had or how things that I never expected would lead me to success down the line. And I think everybody has this thought, you're in the military and you're like, I got all these skills. Like, I'm really good at like dispatching people who are trying to kill me and being vulgar and having a terrible sense of humor and being bored. Like, that's my skill set. What am I going to do when I get out? But then you get out and you realize that there are things that the Army gives you, or the military, whether it's Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. We'll include you guys. We love you. And I love that scene in Space Force where they're like, the Coast Guard sits down and like, who invited this Coast Guard? Yeah, they're a branch. But
So
they give you all these tools that will make you successful later in life, which we'll kind of get to. So I'm getting out of the military. My now ex-wife signs us all up to be extras on a show called Army Wives, which filmed in Charleston. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. We'll do it. So, they call her up and she goes and she's an extra for a scene. And, has a reasonably good time. And then they call me up, and it's before I've gotten out of the military. And it's literally like the month I'm about to ETS. And so, my hair standards were already a little bit relaxed. And, as I'm getting closer to getting out, they were becoming extra relaxed. Also, I didn't want to tell, my first sergeant what exactly I was doing.
Right.
So I just told him I had a job interview, and he's like, okay, because I needed to take leave. I needed an extra day off. And he goes, okay, what's the job? And I was like, it's a job interview. And he's like, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm going to be an extra on the show Army Wives. And he just started laughing, like uncontrollably. And I was like, so is that a yes? And he literally just said, get the fuck out. Like, just come back when you're done. And so I go down, and they're filming on Sullivan's Island at, I think it's Fort Moultrie. And I show up on set, and it's one of those moments, that will kind of stay with me the rest of my life, because walking towards set, there was just something inside me that said, like, this is where you belong. Mm. No explanation. I just, immediately felt at home. I go up to hair and makeup, and the first thing they tell me is like, we're going to need to cut your hair, because this is a military show. And I don't know why they're like a weird Southern guy, because they weren't weird or Southern. They were women, and they were awesome. But they're like, yeah, we got to cut your hair because it's outside military regs. And I just laughed. And I was like, okay. So 2 weeks out from getting out of the military, I get a high and tight for like the first time in like 7.5 years. So psyched about that. Go through costumes, and then we're getting berets. And I'm putting on my beret, and anybody who's been in the Army and who's worn a beret knows it is a very specific skill that will never come in handy in your life ever again. And here I am, my first venture into the civilian world, putting on this fucking beret. And, most people don't know how to put them on, so they're wearing like the pizza hats, or like they're a Cyclops, or, they're, there are SF brethren where they have it like kicked back to here, and it's more like slicking their hair back, not even really sure why they're wearing it. And I put mine on and fold it over and pull it and down. And Chad Gleaton, who I will love forever, and I owe a home when I make my first million. He's the military advisor in season 7 or 6 rather. Former Ranger bat guy sees me doing that motion. He goes, "What unit are you with?" I was like, "Oh God, is it obvious?" He's like, "Oh yeah." We start talking. Had a lot of friends in common, even though we didn't know each other. Special operations being a very small community, immediately hit it off. And from there, he kept bringing me back as an assistant. They'd have a scene with, 100 plus people where he just needed, somebody to wrangle the extras and help them put on their berets. And then at the end of the season, there was a big scene where I'm having to teach people DNC and marching, which is another skill where I'm like, why am I being taught this? I will never use this ever again. And here I am like, what foot is it again? Left? Yeah, the left one. And then the right. It's almost like they're sequential, left, right, left. And then we assume you get it after a point and just stop telling you. And then season 7, Chad leaves and moves on to his next career, and asked if I want to throw my hat in the ring to be their coordinator. And I said I would love to, or their military advisor. So I throw in my resume. They give me a thanks but no thanks. And I was like, cool. They had another guy who is super qualified, other former Ranger who, they wanted to kind of lead the way. And I was like, cool, if he needs anything, let me know. Nothing but good feelings for y'all. I'm going to school. My finals are the first week of December, and I get a call from Army Life, and they're like, so would you still be interested in being our military advisor up? And I was like, sure, but I thought you had one. They're like, oh, well, he just got another job, and now he's going overseas, so now you're our our choice. And I say this all the time. I don't care how you get your foot in the door, just as long as you take advantage of your opportunity.
Sure.
And it's true for me. It's true for anybody else. I don't care if I'm your last fucking choice. I promise I will be the best choice that you've ever made. And I think people sometimes get caught up in the race of, well, I have to be first. I have to be best. I have to be the most liked to be successful, to succeed, to whatever it is, to fill in the blank. And that's not true. You just have to be willing. So they call me up, they bring me in, first production meeting. I'm sitting around all these people, producers, directors, set designers, things I've never heard of before, props, yada, yada, yada. And they start asking questions and they're looking to me for answers. And it took me a second to realize, like, oh, you're legitimately asking my opinion. And I, told them, and they're like, oh, well, we're great to have you. And I was like, well, we'll see how long that lasts. Because I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I'm just going to do what I think is the right thing until I get promoted or fired. First, one of my first episodes, it's a big memorial service. One of the generals is, going for, his wife has passed away and he's going to her funeral, and he doesn't have his blue infantry cord on his, I think it's the left shoulder or whatever. And I made a comment offhanded, like, oh, that's weird. One of the costumers and seamstresses heard me and they're like, oh, well, we'll fix that. But it was more of me going like, I wonder why that is, and I should check it out. Because I later found out, once you get promoted to the rank of general, something I literally have zero experience with, your unit assignment and branch assignment, all that stuff changes. And, there are all these rules that I had no idea about at the time.
Sure.
But they just heard me say, oh, I thought he was supposed to have a blue infantryman cord, and they put it on. I found out my mistake and told them, like, hey, like, that wasn't supposed to be. And they're like, oh, well, we already shot those scenes and they aired. And that was my first introduction to, like, when you're on set, people are going to listen to everything you say as the gospel truth.
Right.
So you can't, you have to be.
When you're the advisor.
Yeah. You have to be very intentional about the things you say. Because, in the military, we say something and, there's somebody more senior or who has more experience who will be like, no, and let me explain why. Now it's just like, oh, I'm in. And so, of course, right out the bat, I make a big mistake with the lead character in the show, big uniform thing. And I tell them, I come, and I let them know, like, hey, like, I messed up. And they're like, okay, well, it's already been shot, so we'll move on. Just basically don't do it again.
Mm.
And I'm feeling horrible. I'm feeling like I let everybody down. And I called my buddy, Chad, and told him what happened, and he kind of laughed and kind of recounted all his initial, missteps. And he's like, dude, don't even worry about it. You'll be fine. And just kind of encouraged me to move on. Well, that season they brought in a bunch of new actors. I called them my Reno 5. They're deploying to Afghanistan to a fire base. They're going to be in a couple of firefights and the base gets overrun. So my job is to turn these actors into soldiers. And so I did. I told them, like, look, I'm going to put you through, boot camp. I'm going to teach you how to break down weapons. I'm going to teach you, immediate remedial action for jams. We're going to go to a firing squad. We're going to do PT together. Like, I'm going to bring you into my world. And they were great about it. They, jumped in with both feet. I had them doing everything. They were racing, assembling and disassembling, M4s and doing functions checks and, firing the saw and sweeping and clearing malfunctions, like the whole nine.
Nice.
Well, I'm teaching them how to do 9 lines, right? And we're doing scenario-based training. And so I have 2 of the actors in the talk, and then 2 of them are in a guard tower. And, attack comes in, troops in contact, call it up, and then one of their guys goes down. And I'm, going old school me, and, I look at one of the actors and getting in his point, face, pointing, like, look, motherfucker, your guys are out there dying, so you better unfuck yourself. And as I'm saying this, the unit production manager, the woman who hired me and who runs the show, is walking in as I'm like in the face of one of the stars and cussing him out. And I was like, well, it's too late. So I just kept at him, what's your fucking 9 line? What's the first line? Where, figure it the fuck out. And I was like, I'm fired. I'm done. But I see her crack a smile and just start giggling and then walk out. I was like, oh God, like I've been given permission. And they were amazing. I mean, they really were. The moment where I knew I had done my job, my buddy JJ Soria, who's portraying one of the characters, he was on the saws. They're getting overrun in I think 9th or 10th episode, and he's just rocking, pop, 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 and the gun jams, and without missing a beat, he does pops and gets it right back, on the line, just like instinct. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is fucking amazing. So we did that, wrapped after season 7. I'm super excited. And then nothing. Literally, like it wrapped and they're like, okay, well, have a nice day. And my buddy warned me about this. He goes, when you're filming, it's the greatest thing in the world. You're on top of the mountain. Everybody loves you. As soon as they're done, like everybody just moves on to the next project because it's and it is so insane, just the swing from like, going full bore, living your dream, this is amazing and awesome, to just nothing. And then a couple months later, I get a call and I work on Max. And same thing on there, it's a, scene in Afghanistan and there's a firefight and guys go down. And so I'm teaching the actors weapons handling and going through the scenes. And the director's like, we need one of the military guys, to say a couple of lines. And Todd and I had worked together on Army Wives, and Todd, being the awesome guy he is, he's like, Chris can say lines. So he came back to me. He's like, yeah, I told the director you can act. You've acted before, right? I was like, yes.
Sure.
He's like, cool. Well, you're being upgraded. You got lines. So my first lines in a feature film are me yelling at an Afghani in Arabic as we're, leading them out of the hut. And I was like, I'm just going to roll with it. And then a couple days later, there's a scene where, the dog's handler gets killed and the dog's trying to protect the body. And one of the other, squad members goes to shoot the dog to get him off the body. And they need somebody to knock him out of the way and jump on the dog. And they're like, well, you've already said lines and we already got you on contract. So do you want to do it? I was like, hell yeah, I do. So I go in and I push him out of the way and then I jump on the dog. But then they're like, you can't actually touch the dog. So we have a stunt double for you. And so I was like, wow, I get to be a stunt man and have a stunt double in the same day. So it was pretty surreal. It was awesome. I'm SAG eligible, which means I'm eligible to join the union, which some people literally wait decades for. Happens for me within my first year in the industry. Again, I'm back on the top of the mountain. This is awesome. Shooting goes really well. Good feedback, from everybody involved, and then nothing. I'm going through a divorce at the time, dealing with the custody issues, and I'm traveling back and forth to see my kids. And life just kind of, at least as far as film goes, kind of grinds to a halt.
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit. I'm broke. I know that film is happening in Atlanta. I know that I'm not in Atlanta. So I take a guitar and the engagement ring that I bought for my first wife to the pawn shop. And they're like, well, we won't give you anything for the guitar, but we'll give you $70 for the ring. And I was like, deal. Took that $70, drove to Atlanta, stayed on one of my friend's couches, and picked up work as an extra. And that led to 1 day, led to 2 days, led to 4 days, led to a couple of weeks. And that got me thinking again, like, okay, like I can make money doing this, and people want to see me on camera. As seemingly vain as that sounds, it's more like somebody had to choose to say, yes, I want you in this film. I want you in this TV show. So there is something there, and they're paying me. And so little bit by little bit, work started picking up. I find, that my connections to the actors and crew members of Army Wives kept back to serve me exceptionally well. And then also my ties to the special operations community and my military background also served me really well, because there's, they're just two closely knit families bonded over very similar types of circumstances, who want to look out for each other and invest in each other. And so, fast forward now, 5-6 years later, I'm living in Atlanta full time. I have full custody of my kids. My girlfriend is just the love of my life and has been a lifesaver. She understands the film industry and supports me as far as that goes. It's been amazing. But it was moments of really high highs and great accomplishments, followed by like soul crushing months where you're like, do I suck? Is that why? Like, are they not calling me? Like, did I ruin something?
Right.
Did I like step on somebody's cat? And then the phone rings and you're like, okay, I'm excited again. So it's, that's kind of the long and the short of the journey. But it's been a transition from the military to now.
Yeah. I mean, the business aspect of it, where, like you said, oh, it's such a high. We're a functioning team. It's like, your fire team, right? You guys are cooking, yep. And then it's like, oh, we ETS'd all to different places, and now it's like, well, see you when we see you, and it's just it's done.
Yep.
I can't imagine that's got to be really hard, but I think, as a guy who's in for some time, you kind of do develop those relationships where,
yep.
When you're in it, and then you guys go your separate ways, and that's the nature of the beast.
100%.
Wow. So, it goes to show. So I guess the one question probably anybody would ask is like, okay, so what's your advice for aspiring veterans and up and coming, maybe wannabe actors, wannabe screenwriters, stuntmen, what have you?
The first advice I was ever given, and I stand by it, is if you can do anything else in the world except for acting stunts, for the love of God, do it. And I didn't understand it at the time, but I get it now, because it is the absolute best career field in the world, as far as like fulfilling and, this creative high and the recognition that comes with it, and the most soul crushing experience on the face of the planet. Because it's they love you 1 minute and literally you don't exist the next. It's mind blowing. And also it takes dedication, and it takes, embracing the grind. You have to look at it as a career, and most people don't go into a career their first year and say, I'm going to be CEO and making CEO money by the end of this year. They go, okay, well, military base, it's going to take me X amount of, months and years to get to, PFC or specialist to be eligible, and then X amount to be promoted to sergeant. And, And so you see a career path that takes time and longevity and, building on skills and things like that. And so that makes sense. And for the officers, kind of the same thing. But for some reason, people approach film like, I'm going to show up and they're going to love me and I'm going to be making $1 million by the end of my first year.
Right.
And it's just not like that. One, as a veteran, you possess skills that are invaluable, damn near priceless in the film community and in the world at large. Two, getting shot for fake and getting blown up for fake hurts a whole lot less. Whole lot less. And you can do it over and over again without really any physical or mental repercussions, which is kind of fucking nice.
Right.
But the ability to put yourself in a situation where like I've been shot at, I know what it's like. I know the feeling of reacting to that, and not in the like macho man kind of way, but in the way that it's like you duck your head down, you wait, for the shooting to stop, you come up, engage your target, you're in a place, you're focused, but you're also dealing with the fact that you're, maybe you're not, but I dealt with a little bit of fear while I was getting shot at and while shit was going on. And so you manage both simultaneously. As veterans or people who've been there, you understand that. Whereas people who think they understand how the military works thinks it's just this John Wayne bravado where bullets are flying and I ain't got time to bleed. And it's not that. And so when you bring a realism and an authenticness to the screen, people recognize that, and it's they're drawn to it. And so if you're getting started out, understand it's going to be a very long path. The skills that you possess will serve you really well. And that, it's going to require you, to be open and vulnerable in ways that you don't expect. But it's also extremely worthwhile. Getting to tell stories, whether it's the guys who made Black Hawk Down, or American Sniper or Lone Survivor or The Outpost or whatever it is, you have the ability to honor those who came before you and paid the ultimate sacrifice in a way that's going to live on forever.
Right.
And it's a way that can help reach people and inspire them and, hopefully give them the courage to keep going when they're at their darkest or in their, struggling with their situations. And then the final thing is, the final thing is, and then I give you a list. One, add me on Facebook, hit me up on Instagram, reach out to me. Depending on where you are, I can put you in direct contact with people who do extras casting. That's how I got started. That's how a lot of people get started. It's super simple. When movies and TV shows are being shot, these extra casting agents will put out like a list of like, hey, we need guys 18 to 35 with military or tactical experience. The pay rate is, whatever it is, 75 over 8 or 120 over 8. And if you fit that, and if you're available the days they're filming, you just email in pictures of yourself and give them a breakdown. And if they like you, they're like, cool, show up and come on set. Being an extra is kind of like being a private. Everybody's glad you're there, but nobody wants you around. Right. And if you can enjoy being an extra or a PA, which is basically the crew level extra on set, you will have fun doing whatever you do. Because it's mindless and you sit around a lot, and then they're like, I want you to literally walk from point A to point B and don't fuck it up, which seems simple, but extras, much like privates, will figure out a way to fuck it up. And then, you get to hang out with, people who are in the industry that you may have grown up watching or wanting to share the stage with. And all of a sudden you realize, like, holy crap, like, it's 100% possible for me to have a career where I'm working hand in hand with, whoever it is, whether it's, people who want to be extras on the Avengers so that they can hang out with Captain America, or they want to do an action movie and want to hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, my daughter's calling. How do I go back? There we go. I'm back. And so that's a great place to start. Jane just called me. If you can figure out what she needs. But yeah, add me on Facebook, add me on Instagram. And I can, God bless. Being a dad, it's fun. I do love them. They're amazing. And that can get your start. The other thing is also take classes, hone your skills. If you want to go into stunts, make sure it's a martial arts background, something where you can take falls. Judo's a great base. And then if you want to get into acting, take acting classes, approach it like a career. Say like, okay, my objective is I want to be an actor. I want to be in stunts, and then kind of make your, as cliche as it sounds, like your mission essential task list. Like, these are all the things I need in order to accomplish this, and just start checking them off one by one. And that's it. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. It's not simple. It requires dumb luck and a lot of skill and a lot of patience.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you hear that a lot. You hear that a lot from people in the industry, and I think it's great advice and very cool. So you actually kind of touched on it, that you have a mixed martial arts kind of background. What got you into it? I mean, how long have you been doing it? What's that all about?
So I watched the original UFCs, when they came out, and, when we would sneak off to the VHS store and get the, VHS copies and watch them at home. And I'm probably butchering his name, but Oleg Tektarov, who's an old Russian, fighter, was fighting Tank Abbott. And I just watched Tank Abbott knock all these guys out. And they had this somewhat boring, like 20-minute match where Tektarov just took Tank Abbott down. And even though he was the smaller fighter, was able to basically out-grapple him and exhaust him and win the fight. And as a not towering giant myself, I was like, I kind of dig the idea that, a smaller guy could beat a bigger opponent. And so I got into the Army, and we were doing combatives, and really found that I enjoyed that. And from there, crossover and started training at Team Rock in Fayetteville with Greg Thompson and their crew. And, that's when Tim Kennedy was in group and training there. And, they have all these amazing high-level coaches. And I'm learning, the best Muay Thai, the best wrestling, the best jiu-jitsu you can imagine. And I've been training for like a grand total of like 6 months. And one of my buddies, Ricky, who's a pro fighter, was like, you're getting pretty good. What do you think? What do you want to do with the MMA thing? And I was like, oh, I'd love to take a fight, meaning someday, like in the future, where I'm not. Well, he takes out his phone, calls up the promoter, and is like, hey, I got a guy. He's talented. He's a little, young as far as the sports go, but I want to get him a fight. He's like, cool. Is he available in April, which is in like 7 months? And he's like, yeah. It's like, okay, got him a fight. And that was the start of my career. So I'm training my butt off for the next, 6-7 weeks. Some of my friends in the group are helping me train, and I'm training the Team Rock. And a good friend of mine, Chris P., who, was one of my mentors, and we would train together. I kept, doing a duck under and taking his back. And one day in training, he's like, why don't you just set up a rear naked choke from there? I was like, oh, so I ducked under, took his back, got the rear naked choke, and that was that. And I'm training, get my butt kicked, whatever. And I meet, go and meet my first opponent night of the fight, and he seems really humble and nice, and like he's short a couple of bucks on registration, so I, slide him $5 to help him pay for it, whatever. I was like, oh, he's nice. Like, this is going to be a good, friendly, fight where we're going to try and kill each other. But at least he's a nice guy. Well, that night we're in the dressing room, everybody's taping up, and his coach is over there because he was a boxer, and my stand-up wasn't the greatest, and they're just talking trash about how, like, my ground game is garbage, and I won't be able to take him down, and he's going to knock me out. And I'm like, oh, God, I really don't want to get knocked out in front of all these people. Like, 100+ people came to watch me fight. My coaches are here. Like, oh, this sucks. And so getting ready for the fight, getting ready to walk out. And I'll never forget Jason Palacios and, Chris P. are my two corners. And I look at Jason and I go, man, this is the worst idea I've ever had. Like, I don't want to do this. And he looks at me, and he was an Islander and very relaxed all the time. And he goes, nah, brah, you got this. And that's all he said. Didn't even pronounce the words all the way. Just laid back like, nah, bro, you got this. And that was the Rocky speech. That was the, there you go. And I was like, okay, that's all I get. And then he said, after you get punched once, you'll be fine. And I was like, this is terrible advice. Nah, bro, you got this. Get punched once, you'll be fine. So we go out there, we get in the ring, we touch gloves. Guy, sits down and nails me with his first punch. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't bad. And we're fighting. The first round seems like it takes forever. I'm sitting on my stool after the round. I'm like sucking wind. And I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. And again, good coaching is amazing. He goes, nah, man, he's exhausted. And I look at the guy I was fighting, and he is like done. And instantly, I'm just like, and go out there feeling great. Almost finish him in the second. Come out in the third. We're against the cage. I duck under. I go to suplex him, and grabs the cage. And sure enough, I sink in the rear naked choke from standing. And by the time we hit the ground, he's tapping. And I win my first fight. And I'm like, oh, dude, thank God. That was amazing. And I think I'm never doing that again. And a guy, wanted to interview me from whatever the on-base newspaper was. And he interviews me, and the interview comes out, and it says, I'm sure this is not the last we'll hear from future champion Christian Brunetti. I was like, oh, man. God, fuck. And so I keep fighting and keep racking up wins in just the, craziest ways. Fighting really good guys. Like one guy, my second fight, Jason Salvo, he's an Air Force vet, amazing human being, great fighter. We come out, and I shoot in on him, and he catches me in this, like, head and arm choke, which I'd never been in before in my life. I literally have no idea what to do to get out of this. So I literally developed this strategy where, like, I'm just going to flop around like a fish and hope my arm slips out. And so I'm literally, like, flopping around, like, just all over the place, hoping my arm pops out. And right as I'm about to pass out, I'm like, I should tap. And then I realized my parents are there, and I was like, nah, not today. And so I just, like, wiggle a little bit more, and my head pops out, just, like, out of nowhere. And so I managed to survive the first round, and with, I think I ended the first round with ground and pound. Come out in the second round, land some leg kicks. I'm throwing punches, and he just, boom, cracks me and splits my eye open. And I felt it immediately, and there was, like, blood pouring down my eye. And I'm like, oh, man, like, I don't want them to stop the fight. Like, I've come this far. I'm not going to stop. And so I just go into wrestler mode and hide my head in his chest so that the ref can't see that my, like, eye is hanging half off. And at one point in the video, you can see I posture up, and there's literally just, like, a stream of blood, and his back is just pink. And I'm, doing everything I can to just stay close to him. Like, I shoot in for a double leg takedown, and my head's on the wrong side. And, like, I literally slip on my own blood. It was just a mess. But I managed to get him down. I get him mounted. I'm throwing strikes. He rolls over. I sink in the rear naked choke, and I win. And as soon as I come up, I'm just like, oh, I just need a head wrap and a beer. So I win the second fight just, like, by flopping like a fish and pretending not to bleed. And, like, every fight was kind of like that, where it had its own, little crazy storyline. And then, I was offered a title fight at 155. Nervous before every fight. And it was a good back and forth fight. He hit me with a Superman punch at one point, which was more embarrassing than anything. Cause it didn't hurt, but I was like, I can't believe he just pulled that off. Like, I looked like an idiot. At one point I get him in a Kimura, and I think, like, his arm's about to pop off, and he fights out of it. And then by round 4, I had him, worn down, and I got him on the ground and, ground and pound, and he rolled over, and I tapped him out and won my belt, right? Which is awesome. Well, I deploy, I come back, I have a fight against this guy, Mike Powell, the promoter, who's a good friend of mine. Is like, look, man, you just got back from Iraq. You don't have to take the fight. And my coaches are like, you shouldn't take the fight. And my opponent, and most of my opponents are now friends of mine. He's like, he had no issues. He's like, look, if the guy doesn't want to take the fight, like, I'm not going to be mad. Like, it's fine. But of course, I'm like, no, I'm taking this fight. So I take the fight on 2 weeks' notice after just getting back from Iraq. I'm in decent shape, but there's a difference between fight shape and,
deployment shape.
Yeah. And so I go in, we kind of have a back and forth first round. I get him in a guillotine. At least I thought it was a guillotine, but, like, I only had, like, half his head, and, like, I'm squeezing for dear life. And in the video, you can see he's, like, waving to his friends and, like, thumbs up to the ref. And at one point, he just, like, lifts his hands, like, I don't know what he's trying, but I'm gonna let him get tired. come out the second round. He's throwing punches. I shoot in for a double. He sits back into a triangle, smooth as silk. And I, always teach people you either, pressure or posture to pass a triangle, never both. Well, I do both because I've trained regularly in a while, and I pass out. But I don't remember passing out. I just remember I'm in the ring 1 second. The next, I'm eating ice cream on a bench, and it's very nice. And then I wake up, and my first thought is, where the fuck's my ice cream? And then I realize that I've lost, and I am like on the ground. And then, from there, the waterworks start. I was heartbroken because, just came back, wanted to win for everybody. And at the end of the day, they didn't care. They were there to support me. And I was also sad about my ice cream. Yeah. And so lost my title at 145 there. Had two more fights, won a title at 155. And then that's when, I found out that I was diagnosed with a brain injury from my time overseas. And, at that point, I stepped away from MMA and then focused on grappling and, things that involve less head trauma.
Wow. I mean,
yeah.
That's insane. Like, very, very much similar to your route into film. It's just, you kind of stumble into it.
Yeah. Life happens. And it's all things that, like, when I was a kid, I really, I'd read Black Hawk Down and one of the things that totally just blew my mind, Randy Shugart and Gary Gordon, there's the Delta snipers who are just, they knew the situation was completely helpless when, Super 6-4 goes down, you have two birds down, your task force spread all over the place. And they just kept asking, like, hey, put us in. And they, I believe, obviously I don't know them, but, knowing the caliber of men they were, I think they knew what they were asking beyond a shadow of a doubt. But they also knew that if they could do anything to help the guys who are on the ground, they would. And just reading, about how they inserted and held the crash site literally until they were out of ammo and were no longer alive. Even now, it still fucking gets to me. It's like, those are the people I want to emulate myself, after, who, if somebody else is in need, no matter what the cost, no matter what the risk, like, as a man or, as a woman, whatever it is, like, you're supposed to step up. And if you have the ability, no matter how slight the change, the odds for someone else, you fucking take that chance. And so growing up on stories like that, it was hard not to want to go into the military. And then, growing up watching UFC, it was like, oh, that would be so cool to get to do. And then somebody gives you the chance to do it, and you're like, oh shit, I wasn't serious. I just thought, like, it'd be cool. And then you're doing it, and you're like, it's almost like you got away with something. You're like, I won my first one, kind of by dumb luck. Like, I don't want to push it. And then next thing I know, I'm fighting for, for championships. And then, in film, I just step on set one day, and all of a sudden I'm making friends and meeting people and, kind of raising through the ranks. One day I'm sitting in my office and Brooke Shields walks in and she goes, I've been waiting to talk to you. And I was like, whoa, there literally was a line of people waiting to talk to you, and, like, you're seeking me out. This is surreal. And my buddy Adam Boyer, who's one of my mentors, was like, I just want you to know, like, that doesn't happen. Like, people don't walk into this industry and all of a sudden, the number one actor on the call sheet is walking up to them for advice and wanting to pick their brain. I was like, oh no, I know, I recognize this is crazy.
It's almost like you've made a career in that, like, it's not like a fake it so you make it, but the idea of that, like, you're like, man, I'm not supposed to be here. Someone's eventually going to call me out. But that's been the fighting, that's been the acting, that's been the stunt work.
That's the thing. Like, fighting, I was not the best stand-up guy. I was not the best wrestler. I was not the best jiu-jitsu guy. But what I will say, one of my strengths is I had grit, man. Like, you will have to kill me to fucking stop me. And it's not that I never lose. It's like, I'm putting it on the line and I'm moving forward and I'm going to do everything I can to figure out how to make it happen. And a lot of times that can tilt the needle just that little bit from failure to success. You know, it's not always, you know, the more talented person, as cliche as it is. You know, it's you know, a lot of times it's the person who just wants it more and is willing to fight like hell for it. And this career, you know, as a stunt performer, you know, actor, you know, whatever you want to say, I fought like hell for it. And I've been ridiculed and made fun of. And, you know, fucking people talk down to me about it and, you know, say that I'm wasting my life and, you know, all these crazy things. And I remember very specifically, before I moved to Atlanta, somebody reached out to me. I was like, look, you know, you moving to Atlanta is super selfish. You know, you've convinced your kids that you're going to go there and be the next Captain America, but really you're just ruining their lives. And that, you know, it hurt because I'm a dad first and foremost. When I was in the service, you know, my kids came first, often at the detriment of my career because I would pass up opportunities because I wanted to be home. And then in film, it's been the same way. I've passed up opportunities because I'm a dad first.
Yeah.
And so that really fucking hurt. We'll fast forward a year later. I'm sitting at the Avengers cabin, you know, working on MacGyver with Peter Weller, who was RoboCop, and the stunt coordinator was one of Captain America's stunt doubles. And I'm just thinking, you know, it's not, you know, I'm not quite an Avenger, but I'm pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
You know, I sent a picture of, you know, of the cabin to my kids, and immediately they just lost their minds. They're like, "Oh my god, that's fucking amazing!" You know, that's incredible. And you know, and it was kind of a moment where it was like just that affirmation that, like, you know, you're not as crazy as you think, and that, you know, this is where you're meant to be. And the hard times, because there are hard times, are worth it. You know, and you know, getting to be on MacGyver and you know. Worked with Daniel Hargrave, who's one of the best in the business, and who is one of Captain America's fucking doubles. And we're filming at, you know, the Avengers cabin, and I get to arrest RoboCop in one scene, and like you can't write that stuff. And if you told me that's where I would be when I started out, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. And you know, now as my career progresses and I'm getting more opportunities and I'm getting to work on, you know, bigger budget stuff with, you know, more, you know, named actors and things, it's just like, you know, maybe, you know, there's this like glimmer of hope, like maybe I belong here, you know, maybe this isn't just a fluke. And it kind of feels good, I'm not gonna lie. It's scary as hell, but lately it's you know, it's been good.
Absolutely. There's one question in the chat that I wanted to present you with. It says, as a stuntman, what do you think of actors doing their own stunts? Is it as big a deal as they make it out to be for an actor to do so?
So the short answer is yes. We'll go with yes. There's a lot of caveats to it. One is the issue with an actor doing their own stunts is if that actor gets hurt, it can shut down production. And so it puts, you know, potentially everybody's job in jeopardy. You know, if it's a stunt that they can do and they can safely do, a lot of times actors will do their own stunts and like to push the envelope, but you as a production, you know, and as a director, as a stunt coordinator, as whatever it is, you really have to weigh the risk versus the reward. Sometimes it's so much better when you know, have a scene where you don't have to take the actor out of it, and if they can stay in the moment and be engaged, that's awesome. But so often it's like, you know, all of us are human, right? We all have limits to our skill set and skill ability, and so, you know, the stunt performer and the stunt double is there, one, to keep the actor safe, but also to present them in the best light humanly possible. You know, so if I'm acting, you know, and I need to do a double backflip, look, like, you're gonna bring in a stunt double for the stunt guy because I can't do a double backflip,
right?
And I'm not gonna learn. Like, I got a bunch of friends who would make it look amazing, and then I can be like, because you're only gonna see my face, so I still get credit for it. So if the actor can safely do it, you know, let them do it, let them throw it, whatever. If it's something that's going to put them at jeopardy and may jeopardize the production as a whole, then the juice just isn't worth the squeeze on it. Now somebody like Tom Cruise, who does a lot of his own stunts, he owns his own production company. So when he did that stunt where he shattered his ankle, he basically paid the cast and crew so that they didn't miss out on the work. And then once he healed up, they went back to filming. So if you have the money to do that, like, by all means, get on with your bad self.
You got the juice to swing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think also too, it depends on who's claiming they're doing their own stunts. If it's I fake taking a punch versus like Jackie Chan jumping off a roof onto a pole, and there's a difference in it.
Or another big thing is driving, because driving is a super high level skill. And people look at really good drivers and they're like, oh, that's easy. I can bust a 900. I can do, 3.5 160s. It's no problem. And then they try with their own car and then like veer off into a light pole. And like, oh, why did that not work? It didn't work because you're an idiot. The driving sequences in films and TV shows are just incredible. They're fun to watch. They're fun to be a part of. It's great to see behind the scenes. But like most people are not high level drivers, just period. So like for an actor, you don't really want to do that kind of stuff unless you really know what you're doing. So you bring in a stunt driver and they absolutely kill it. You look great. And again, nobody thinks about the stunt guy, so you get the credit for it anyways. High falls, is another example, or fire burns or things like that. It's just the risk is really great and the skill is very specific. And so you just have to bring in other people.
Right. And let me ask you this. And this is coming from me, not the chats. As an actor / stuntman too, I've always had this curiosity. There are, I love watching behind the scenes. I love watching, making ofs, and you'll see scenes where it's 2 people in a car. They're driving and talking. No crazy stunts, nothing like that. Just driving down the road, and then you find out that the car was on a trailer, or it was this green screen. Like, it doesn't seem that hard of a thing to like, let's just shoot this on the road. But maybe am I oversimplifying it?
You are, and I love process trailers. One, because the people driving the vehicle don't have to focus on the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm engaged in a conversation, I want to be in the moment, which means like fully invested in my character and where they're at. I don't need to be worrying about traffic, right? 2, it enables the people, the DP, the cinematographer, the director, whoever, to get a consistent shot, because it's not just like, oh, we got, we did this in one take and it's perfect. That happens sometimes, but more often than not, it's like, performance wasn't right, the words were off, focus was soft, sound was, had an issue, lighting was an issue, so you have to reset and do it again. Well, to get that consistency, you just have the known path that the vehicle is going to travel. You have the vehicle on a process trailer, and for traffic, you'll have people weaving in and out when they're supposed to fill in the back. That way, you can shoot a scene over and over and over again to get it right, without being like, why are things magically appearing and disappearing in the windshield or in the rearview mirror or whatever.
Right. Huh?
Yeah.
You nailed it perfectly. I totally knew that. I was trying to stump you, but you totally got it. No, this is awesome. I mean, we've been talking for over an hour. I don't want to take up any more of your time. This was thank you so much for coming on. Let me give you here the last few minutes. Promote anything you'd like, what you're working on, where people can find you, your social medias, anything at all. This is your time to shine.
Copy that. So super quick, and I'm going to take up the last 5 minutes about something that's probably not film related. If you're interested in having a conversation, you want to learn more about the business, you have questions, or you just want to see what my crazy life is like, see Brunetti Film on both Facebook and Instagram. So it's BRUNETTI Film. Feel free to add me, shoot me messages, ask all the questions you want. I have a lot of cool stuff coming up that I can't talk about. And when it comes out, man, I would love to come back on and share some of my stories.
Absolutely.
Really cool stuff coming up. So yeah, follow me. That'll give you kind of the update. One thing that I will say, and this is kind of a caveat, as far as, you know, life post-military, and I'll keep it super short. I struggled a lot getting out, and I've had really, really low times. You know, I've had a lot of really high times, and talking about being a stunt guy and being on, you know, set and all that is absolutely amazing. You know, due to, you know, some of the injuries I incurred while I was in, you know, I have issues with my memory, with, you know, mood swings, with depression, with anxiety, you know, nightmares, sleepless nights, the whole nine. And so even though, you know, I'm enjoying my life and living my life to the fullest, and I fucking love it, don't think that I don't struggle. And the reason I say that is because if all you see is the struggle in your life, and you look at, you know, somebody like me, or, you know, the guys who seem like they have it made, it doesn't mean they're not struggling. It just means, you know, maybe they found ways to help cope with it, so that they can continue to grow. And I've been fortunate enough that, you know, my kids and, you know, my girlfriend has been a literal lifesaver. You know, she understands me and is there for me. I have an amazing service dog, who helps me with the issues I have. And I've been able to live a super incredibly fulfilling life, that is beyond my wildest expectations, while also having those issues. So, you know, never be afraid to reach out. You know, if you're listening, I promise you, fucking reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, you know, ask me questions. You know, if you're having a good day, if you're having a bad day, you know, feel free, because, you know, we all go through it. And it doesn't make you less than, it doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you a bad person, it doesn't make you a failure. It just means that you served and you paid a price for it. And, you know, you have people who love you and who are willing to help you out. And I'm fortunate enough, man. If you saw me 2012, 2013, where like I was having trouble getting out of bed, you know, like my routine was off, I was a total mess, to now, I wouldn't believe it. So I'm excited to be where I'm at. But, you know, if you're struggling, reach out 100%. I'd love to help you out, whether it's with film stuff or, you know, with other stuff. You have people who are here for you and who love you. And so that is the end of my spiel.
Awesome, man. No, I want to thank you for that. I'm a person, I was wounded in combat, and, you know, I've struggled with PTSD and things like that. And I've been very open about it, and I share about it. We had actor Clark Gregg, Agent Coulson, on a couple weeks ago, and he shared about his mental health struggles, and we talked about it. And I think it's such an important thing, and I really appreciate you opening up about it, because it's very easy, like you said, to see that, oh, he's got it all together, he's got it going on, what has he got to bitch about? And it's like, nah, man, we all have struggles, we're all trying to find our way through it. So I really appreciate you sharing that, and you are absolutely welcome back any damn time you well please. So you reach out. I've already hit you up on the Instagrams, and I'm following. Big fan, and look forward to many more projects and seeing where you go with it. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. All right, we're gonna go on break, guys. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
What's up, guys? We're back. Wow. Radar, you with me, buddy?
I'm here, man.
Oh, man. What a phenomenal conversation. What'd you think about that, bud?
Man, I loved it. I loved it, man. I love when we have guests on, especially one, man. Okay, we all kind of. How do you turn my camera back on?
Yeah, I was gonna say you might want to turn your camera back on there, buddy.
Because I'm all appalled, and I'm like, hi, buddy, and then you can't even see me because I have no shit to turn it off. Sorry about it.
It's all right. We still love you. Let's see if I don't jack this up trying to bring you over. Oh, there he goes.
No, I love when guys come on and they're candid with us.
Yeah.
That too, before that.
Oh my God, love
it. Just they open up. You're so demanding. People just keep with you.
Did you say I'm so demanding?
You have like a therapist couch, like over in your corner and shit.
I do actually have like a therapist couch in the back. This is where people lay back and talk. No, I love it. I do. I'm like, let's talk about your successes. Absolutely, let's talk about how awesome you are for being on this show. But I love the fact that people are comfortable enough to open up and share and get deep, and that's awesome. I'm a huge proponent of mental health and getting help. I try not to soapbox on this show. You guys tune in for pop culture stuff, and so I try not to like make this about my own personal beliefs and things, but I mean, it's important. It's absolutely important, and I love that we get to add that in there and that people get to hear it from people that are successful, that hey, this guy's living his life. He's doing what he wants to do, and he still recognizes like, hey, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, reach out when you need help. Yeah, I'm totally for it. So that was super cool, man. I
want to get back to like, if you do need help, if you are struggling with that shit, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just like, oh, well, a bunch of like few people are have a problem with it. We all have problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even be like super successful as a person and still have issues that you demons that you fight or whatever you want to call it. So you're not alone. And so, I think that's really important to realize, especially because in those moments, that's when you feel the most alone.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Kind of
super
have
cool.
a conversation about it. So
yeah, I'm through the roof. So I got one last story for you. I'm gonna hit you up with some WTF news of the week.
All right.
Do you got a lot of extra money?
Do I?
Yeah. You sitting on a couple million at all?
A couple million, not a couple million. I mean, I got bad credit.
I got tons of credit to spend. No. So recently, a bidding war was had over a 40-foot long Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil. Right, it's a complete set, tip to stern, nose to tip, a complete set of Tyrannosaurus Rex, not just the tip, and it sold. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
For $31.8 million. A 40-foot long Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil. I didn't have time to really dig into it. I kind of wanted to dig into it as far as like who bought it, for what purpose did they buy it, and who sold it, like who just owns a Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil and where did they get it from. So I don't have the pertinent details, but just the fact that it struck me as I didn't think, even as a rich person, even as a person with money, I didn't think you could just go out there and buy a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I just didn't.
Couple of things.
Yeah.
A couple of things. I'm going to interject because I actually have a little bit of knowledge on this.
Please enlighten.
Maybe this one in particular. Okay. I live very close to where they like dig this shits up.
Okay.
Right? Out in the Badlands, which is like an hour or so away from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
They like dig these shits up. Like people find fucking dinosaurs and shit all the fuck time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? between like Montana, like parts of Wyoming, and like where I'm at here in South Dakota, they actually found shit ton of dinosaurs. And like there's like fucking people, like I can go to like the flea markets right here and actually like buy fucking like fossils and shit. There's people like go out like in the fucking woods or in the fucking desert and like fucking they follow like these all dinosaur bones and shit and like big ass shark's teeth and fucking all kinds of shit. Right?
Could I just interrupt for 1 second and just I can imagine going to like that small truck stop stand with like they're selling the little knickknacks and you're like, oh, that's a cool little, you know, fossil. And she's like, well, if you're into fossils, I have this, and like throws the curtain back and it's a 40-foot Tyrannosaurus Rex just sitting back there. Like I found this yesterday. Well, go ahead. Tell us more.
No, people fucking do that shit, dude. Like there's like semi-professional archaeologists, and it's not really okay. And because there's like big debates and shit every fucking summer. It's a big to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where there's like actual no bullshit archaeologists, right? And then there's like these fossil hunters, and there's a difference. Because archaeologists would actually like take they dig holes like fucking paintbrushes.
Yeah.
No, these guys go out like fucking backhoes and find like a bone, and then they dig the fucking thing up and like fucking, and they sell them for like a crap ton of money, right? Michael's like, we paying for shark's teeth of the river. No. These are like fucking like megalodon. Like they're like, you can't see. They're like a foot and a half across and like 2 feet fucking long shark's teeth. They're big ass teeth, man.
Yeah.
They're fucking massive. But anyway, these cocksuckers will go out and like find these like dinosaur bones and shit and like sell them like basically what you're talking about, like at a roadside fucking stand, dude.
That's crazy.
Like you get fireworks and fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex fucking arms and shit.
I got boned in the Badlands. Little t-shirt. T-shirt.
Oh my god. But anyway, sorry about it. I'm stealing your idea. But anyway, no, but like this is no bullshit, dude. Like they have all these fucking, and people like come out here. There are people, I don't know a good word to put them. They pay lots of money for dinosaur bones. The more complete the skeleton, the bigger it is, the more money it's worth.
Sure.
That's basically the
Sure.
And so, but like I said, there's kind of a fight between the actual scholars. And
I would imagine the scientific community that wants to preserve this, put it in a museum, research it, and then the guy that just likes to collect weird shit.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, I'm gonna put it this way though, like, how many fucking T-Rex skeletons do fucking libraries and shit and museums really fucking need? Like,
what libraries are you going to?
I don't fucking know. T-Rex libraries. I don't know who the fuck pays money for these shits. All I'm saying,
you know, these aquariums with their T-Rex statues and, you know,
shit, like
Six Flags gets a new Jurassic Park ride, so they buy a $31 million T-Rex statue to go in there. No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
You already know her thing. Just let me buy my fucking T-Rex arms.
Oh man!
Like Mike Larson said, he got them raptor dicks.
He got them raptor dicks.
I got them raptor dicks.
Hey, I'm sure somebody would put some money into that. I don't know if it's $31 million worth, but yeah. And as he said, Animaniacs. Yeah. It's so funny that we're talking about that because the Animaniacs. Remember we were talking about Animaniacs are coming back, and so they just released like a short teaser. And it's basically recreating the classic scene from Jurassic Park, the original, where they like come over, like it's Jeff Goldblum and them in the vehicle, and then they see the dinosaurs for the first time, and they're just like, oh my god, they're real. And it's that, but it's Animaniacs, and it's like them frolicking, and it's very funny. They did a great job with it, and it's very much in the. I almost shared the trailer for that too, but I was like, all right, it's a little too much, but. Yeah, it looks very funny. It does look very funny. But yeah, so no, just I really can't fathom. Maybe it's because I'm from New York City, and so like we have the Smithsonian and we have the Natural History Museum and we have all this stuff. And I'm just saying, I can't think like, oh, I'm gonna go back to Jimbo's backyard and dig up that's not gonna happen in New York. So the idea that someone could go, A, I want a T-Rex skeleton. B, I have $31 million, $31.8 million that I'm willing to part with for said statue or for said bones. I mean, if you're not some type of museum, who
or library
or library apparently, who like what like that's some Tony Stark shit. That's some like Iron Man's like you know what I want my own T-Rex set. I want my daughter's studying dinosaur bones, so I'm just gonna buy a T-Rex statue. Like that's some rich shit, and I can't wrap my head around it. How much money do you think a person has to have where they're fine spending $31.8 million on a bunch of bones?
$32 million.
So you think he's got only $200,000 left total in his wealth?
It's a fucking investment though too. You know what I mean? It's not like they spent the money on crack.
I
know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I think you get more out of crack, to be honest. I think you get more out of it.
$31.7 million. So I won't spend the extra $100,000. Man, I really believe though. But I don't know. That completed skeleton, like I'm sure it was probably. I mean, okay, couple of things. At least it wasn't like fucking like tiger's blood or some shit or some shit.
Sure.
Like dinosaur already dead. They didn't fucking poach it or some shit. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I mean, true.
But and then on top of that too, like, fuck it, dude. It's just a dead ass.
It's just a bunch of bones. And here's the thing. What like the other thing that strikes me is who is that guy that's like, damn it, I bid 31.6, and he's like, shit, I should have just said 32. like who goes, you know what, 31.7, I'm fine. 31.8, I'm out. That's just too rich for my blood. Like, what a strange place to stop. 31.8.
So they only had 32 to go with, so they
he's like, I gotta save something for the bank. I mean, my goodness.
Gotta keep shipping. Right, costs $200,000 fucking thing.
Yeah.
Now the dude's homeless and broke, but has a fucking. He sleeps at night, cuddled up in a dinosaur.
He'd be sleeping in that dino belly. Stupid. You know what? No, I really do like the comedy in that it was 31.8 plus 200,000 for shipping. So they just rounded it to 32 million. I like that. I could see that. I could see something like a set of dinosaur bones costing $200,000 for shipping. That makes sense to me. That makes a weird amount of sense to me. Like, let's just call it 32 million. It's 32 million. All right.
I'm not kidding, but 200 grand. It's 200 grand.
200 grand. Yeah. You can buy a lot of crack with that.
Just buy a new couch. But I mean, in all fairness, though, that is an odd number. But I really do think I want to look at the story now, but I know not the time. I kind of curious.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this off air. All right, Mr. Radar.
I'm tired.
Yeah, man. It's with that yawn, you know what that means, guys. It's Mr. Radar's bedtime. So
it's fucking Radar's bedtime. What's up?
we're gonna wrap this thing up. Mr. Radar, tell them what they've got in store.
Oh, they've got in store. Well, first off, you have been listening to Tied Up Tuesday. No, we have not. God damn it,
man! You really are sleepy.
I am sleepy. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Before the show, we were talking about Minx.
We were,
and getting her all riled up and shit. And now I'm all like fucking back on Tied Up Tuesday. Fucking now it's not that. It is fucking Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar, not with Minx. She retired. Sorry about it.
We miss her.
But anyway, we do miss her. I do miss Minx. She's doing well. She's doing really good in her non-radio life. But anyway, back to story. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Donza, day off. Well, I got to work my real job, but none of this radio stuff. Thursday, Sarge time. Ice, Spanky, Army stuff, Reserve, National Guard, all that good shit. We'll be talking. They've got a guest. Do you have the cut sheet? Or no, need to get the cut sheet up?
Oh yeah, sure. I can whip that out.
They have a guest. It's a big, very, very important guest. Then Friday, Cause, Pookie, Friday Night Freedom. It's good times. Be fucking doing all kinds of good shit over there. Love their show. Saturday, Sunday, Donza. No scheduled activities. Days, but no scheduled activities. Monday night, the Monday edition. Ice and Flash. Talking a little bit of politics for the election coming off in just less than a month. We will be voting in. Well, we'll be voting for representatives who will vote for the president because of electoral college reasons. Anyway, that's way above some people's heads. We'll vote for president, the new president, or the same old president. Tuesday, next Tuesday, I'm going to let you break out the good news next Tuesday. Though.
Yeah.
But next Tuesday, exciting news. You have to be here next Tuesday for our guest.
Can I jump in now?
Want to break it? I'll let you break it. It's your news.
Yeah, next week, guys, we have a legend joining us in studio. We're going to talk about his 30-plus year career in comedy, TV, and film. Comedian, actor, Louis Anderson is going to be with us live. I am super jazzed. The guy is incredibly funny, incredibly talented. We've spoke a few times, and I'm so excited to have him on the show and to share him with all of you because he's a hoot.
Dude, you and I are about the same age, and that he was such a a powerhouse in like my youth. I can't think of guy. He was in everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm so fucking dude. I'm like when that came down, and I was like, I'm fucking Louis Anderson. Dude, I'm excited. I'm stoked. I really am stoked.
Maybe we'll even hear from you during the interview for once.
Maybe, dude. It's not that. It's that. I don't want to. You guys, you get a good function with the guest. I don't fuck it up. I don't be like, I'll watch the movie.
I've seen you before.
If I don't mess the back, you talk to the guest, make it sound professional. I'll start calling you minks, saying it's the wrong show and shit. We don't need any of that.
Yeah, we talk about tying them up and stuff. We don't need any of that. No, yeah, I'm super excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The guy was big in the '80s. Had a revival in the 90s and is back on TV now with TV shows and specials and stuff. So, I mean, we got a lot to cover. So super excited for that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of, what is this? Episode 34. We've reached the end of episode 34. You guys have been so phenomenal. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to keep pumping out some good content for you. I have some work cut out to bring you guys bigger guests, exciting guests from around the entertainment industry. I've got some stokes in the fire that we're working through. I've got some really cool stuff in the works. Keep checking out the Facebook page, the Twitter page, the Instagram page, because I'm going to be putting out some new content. I've got some pretty interesting stuff. Not ready to talk about it yet, but it's coming up soon, and should be pretty cool content. I'm excited for. So keep hanging in there with us, and we love you all. Thank you guys for joining in. Radar, you want to say good night?
Bye. See you.
Sorry about it, guys. Sorry about it. We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys. Stay good. Shots.
You